Sorry, my cats were frisky.
Welcome to my camp with Travis Join me, lean back with a drink, pipe, cigar, and some conversation lying down a long day. So kick back, shake off the dust of the road and the blues of the day. Raise your glass. Toast for another one down, one more set. Whether you came in to relax, chill, talk about your day, and what you have going on tomorrow, or just sit on the and soak up the atmosphere. We're glad you're here at the Tavern.
It's a long damn intro. It's almost over. Okay, and thank you for joining me at the Tavern. I'm Travis, the host, and tonight is my stand-up comedy. Really appreciate you guys being here instead of just, I don't know, surfing porn tonight instead. That's what I normally do on Fridays. But that makes me think of something. Gentlemen, when you masturbate, do you use tissues, a sock, or a cum rag? And I ask because I have to wonder, have you ever accidentally grabbed your cum rag, or your sock, to clean the house before having a rave? Picture it. You just use this man juice-soaked cloth to wipe everything down. Then you turn off all the lights, turn on all the black lights. I can imagine the guests. They'd be like, wow, I'm so stoned. Look at all the streaks everywhere. Do they say stoned anymore? I don't actually know. Never actually been to a rave either. Had a rave review once. But anyhow. If you wash like your cum sock or multiple cum socks, I don't know what you do. Would your whole load of laundry light up under a black light? If you got dressed and went to the club, would you be like a glow-in-the-dark cum monster? That'd be like the worst Scooby-Doo villain ever. Or the best. I've seen that porn. Speaking of porn. And I know black lights light up, different bodily fluids, jism and blood. But what if you're a lady and you're a squirter? Does that sort of bodily fluid show up under black lights? Because I know some guys that would carry a black light with them whenever they expected to get laid. Try to find traces or warnings. It's always good to know if you should be expecting floods or need a snorkel. Speaking of getting laid, can we make a rule for cuddling? How long do you have to cuddle for after sex? It's always been a mystery to me. I lay there with my arm going numb, wondering, how long do I have to do this for? It's like getting the card for your birthday or Christmas. I never know how long to keep those either. And the same for the cuddling conundrum. How long do we need to cuddle for? Because I'm thinking of like, can we get up and clean up? Things are getting sticky and nasty down here and up here and over there, and there's a bit on your cheek. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some cuddling. But, as I mentioned before, within a few minutes, I'm either covered in a sheen of sweat that creates a sticky between me and the person I'm cuddling with. Hopefully, Andrea, otherwise it's probably that person on the bus that fell asleep against me and I was so excited about it. Or my arm is falling asleep. Cuddling, it really can be painful. You know, maybe I can get some medicine to help with that. Like post-Viagra. If you've been cuddling for more than 4 hours, please seek medical attention. I don't know. So I'm a bit out of my comfort zone here. This is the first time I've done stand-up in front of live people as opposed to the other option. And I remember hearing a comedian said, I'm a professional, don't try this at home. So I guess I'm breaking all their rules. I did used to do this in front of friends, like a group of friends on their front porch. Just a handful. And they thought it was great. And again, maybe they just weren't laughing with me, but laughing at me. But I think comedy is a lot like karaoke. We all could do it a little bit. It's a chutzpah to get up and do it in front of others that makes all the difference. Because I think we all sing in the shower. Sing while we're driving. I doubt very many of us do stand-up comedy in the shower. Though, you probably should never do stand-up comedy while driving. Unless you're on one of those little, riding mowers where you stand up. That'd be okay. But anyhow, live your dreams, right? Here's to that. And to show you how good my comedy is, I was practicing my material before going on and doing this show. This is a true story. As I'm practicing my comedy, one of my cats is busy vomiting in the sink in the bathroom behind me here. So I get up and I clean it up, open the toilet lid to drop the tissues with, cat vomit into the toilet. And there's more vomit in the toilet already. Like they were busy the whole time or something. How'd they even get the lid up? I really hope it was just someone cleaned it up before and forgot to flush it. You can't make this stuff up. This is all true. But everyone's a critic. So, if you did come here to heckle, don't bother. The cat's already got it covered. Like the poop in their litter box. One of them is probably in there shitting right now. They're a tough, but furry and cute and cuddly crowd. Or clouder. And I mean the cats, not you guys. Not that you're not cute. But I don't think you puked in my sink. Or poop in a box. But what do I know? You do you. So I decided to do stand-up to have something to fall back on if my career in restaurants doesn't work out. Because I've been working in restaurants since I was 14. So you can see how promising my comedy career has been. Things about restaurants you should remember. A lot of people are worried about the cook or your server spitting in the food if you piss them off. You don't have to worry about that as much as you think. The only place they could do it, people wouldn't see, is in the kitchen, and there's always a ton of people in there, and there's always a rat snitch. No big deal. Somebody would see it, somebody would report them, and so on. But the dishwasher. You ever work in a restaurant? You ever work in the dish room? They're known as the dish dog. They're always alone back there. They're the lowest of the low. And all night, everyone either ignores them or throws crap at them or mocks them. Come to think of it, it's a lot like doing stand-up comedy. But anyhow, in the dish room, there's a big metal box. You got a little handle, you raise it up, it's probably 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot, and you have these big trays that slide exactly into it. You pull the handle down, it washes all the dishes. Then you pull them out, and they're steaming hot, and they're drying because of the heat. They dry pretty quick and everything. But it wouldn't take much for that dishwasher just to spit all over those dishes. A whole rack at the same time. Glasses, plates, silverware. You'd never even be able to tell, because once it's dried, it's on there. Or they could just whiz into the water of the machine itself. That reminds me of a place that I lived in, Mississippi. Yeah, that should already give you an idea where this is going. It was called Handy Pizza. It had a hand on the box. And on the box, not in the box. They really played it up, though. They had logos and mottos like, you can come in 15 minutes or less, or you get extra sauce on your pizza. Salty, salty, cream sauce. Every pizza had a hole in the center of the box for your pleasure. Dining pleasure, I mean. And there was a happy ending with every pizza. Sorry. Handy ending with every pizza. So all this talk of food makes my tummy feel funny. That makes me think of medicine. Which makes me think of medicine commercials. You know the ones with all the warnings about side effects? What's up with that? They're terrifying. I've seen antidepressant medicines that cause depression and suicide. I guess that's a surefire way to get rid of depression, but I don't think that's what they're aiming for when they purchase that medicine. But there was one side effect that terrified me. Worst nightmare. There was one medicine, actually multiple medicines, that listed anal leakage as one of the side effects. Anal leakage. Anal leakage. I don't care how bad things are. Why would I ever want a medicine that makes my asshole drip like a faucet that needs a washer? Well, my asshole would need a good washer after anal leakage. That's for sure. I mentioned this to a friend once, going on a little rant about it. And he's a Marine, and he's this health and exercise guy. Not like a guru, not like a professional trainer or anything, but he writes papers on health and exercise for the military, for the Marines. And he casually mentioned that coffee creamer or the potato chips from the 90s with the Olay, but the fat content of coffee creamer and other things can do the same thing. Needless to say, I choked and spit out my coffee when he did. I almost shit myself when I heard this, but then I thought, well, if I had more coffee, I wouldn't need to shit myself. It just happened naturally without any effort on my part. By the way, I mentioned this to other people too, like my son. He was about 14 at the time. And when I told him this, he's like, oh, you mean swamp ass. That's what my friends and I call it, and we get it all the time. What? The hell are we feeding our children? That they get swamp ass? What are we giving them that's an everyday thing for them to have drippy rectum syndrome? Teenagers are running around across our country, and they already have all the screwed up hormone teenage things that drive the stenches that just terrify everybody. And now it's being embellished by swamp ass, and they have a cute name for it. And they tease and joke about it. I'm so self-conscious about my hygiene, I don't even fart in public, even when I'm alone. I go to the toilet to fart like a civilized person. course, since I don't fart much outside of the bathroom, when I do go to the bathroom to gently pass gas, it's very verbose. I mean, it's loud. Oh, so loud. And bathrooms echo. Then it's amplified by this tuba-shaped porcelain bowl underneath my ass. In fact, it sounds a lot like a teenager practicing tuba for the first week they're in band. Now, it's worse than that. It's like an angry swan that has indigestion, and it's in Walmart, and it wants to blame me for it. Don't know what the hell that swan was doing in Walmart, but man, it was pissed. And then I wipe. And if it was only a fart, it's less like wiping and more like... You ever seen a woman kind of pucker and tamp her lipstick on a tissue? It's like that. It's just this little smear. That'd have to be the shittiest lipstick in the world. Or maybe she's just an ass kisser. I don't know. Oh, by the way, a bit of advice. Don't ever eat chocolate while using a public toilet. People get all freaked out when you come out of the stall, licking brown gooey stuff off your fingers. You should always wipe before leaving the stall. Your ass as well as your fingers. By the way, it's a good way to get in trouble with HR at work when you do that. Speaking of work, the other day I went to HR. This is true. I went to HR and I told the person behind the counter, I have a quick and easy question. And the woman next to her says, Travis is never quick and easy. And immediately shit pops into my head. And I think to myself, that's what she said. But it's immediately followed by, does that mean I'm long and hard? Because I'm not quick and easy. I'm long and hard. Huh? But you can't just say that to HR. It's like a fast track to harassment suits. Like, I thought I'd just skip the middleman, go straight to HR and tell them directly. Well, going back to the topic, sorta. You a folder or you a crumbler? Toilet paper, that is. I'm a folder. And frankly, I'm mystified as hell. What the hell are crumblers thinking? It's like a random ball of soft paper and it unwinds just as randomly as you crumpled it. And how do you fold it to wipe for a second time? Am I the only one that does that? Might be the only one. But bidets changed all that. Have I told you about bidets? So, for months, my buddy Ed and I, we were talking about bidets. And talking about get one. And you can get one now that you just remove your toilet seat, put it down over it, and, that's funny. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. Put it down over it, put your toilet seat back on, and there it stays. And, well, Ed got one. He was so pleased. He told us about it, and Andrea, my girlfriend, went out and bought me one for our anniversary. You should have seen my eyes light up. It's our 7th anniversary. I guess that's the toilet and bidet anniversary. But the reason I wasn't terribly excited, much as I love the idea of a bidet, is she bought me a household chore for our anniversary. And by the way, don't get a man a work project as a gift. It's just mean. So I installed the bidet, and it was a life changer. First of all, let me just say I've never had a cleaner ass. I know, right? Never had a cleaner ass, but it takes some adjustment when you get a bidet. Now we got not the high-priced one that has like lights There are some out there, by the way, they actually have multiple settings. You know the really expensive cars where you get in, you press a button, it adjusts the seats to your thing, and moves the mirrors to where you want it. They have bidets like that automatically change the settings and everything. You have bidets with a remote control. Wouldn't you want to send a guest into your bathroom with a bidet and you just be outside the door with a remote control, just waiting for the right moment? Or Christmas holidays, wait for the family. That'd be even better. But anyhow, mine's not all that fancy. It's got 3 settings. One that just sprays straight down, is like the cleaning spray. I guess it cleans the back wall of the toilet or something. Then, I guess they're all cleaning sprays, technically. One's for the back door, and one's for the ladies' front door. Or to wash your balls. Whatever. Well, there's a few things about bidets that aren't necessarily on the packaging. First of all, if you have city water, your water pressure is generally consistent. If you're like me and you live in the middle of the country, or you live in the country, not necessarily the middle of the country, but you live in the country, you might be on well water. Well water has randomly changing water pressure. Some days you flip on that bidet and it's like a gentle thought of cleaning your ass. It's just as gentle. Wash and shower, like the worst car wash ever, but for your bum. And other days, it's like a surprise enema. It's like Moby Dick came up underneath you and just blew out your asshole. You're suddenly gargling. And in the winter, when the water coming through the pipes is pretty close to freezing, that is an eye-opener in the morning. Anyhow, we'll move on. It's a shitty topic. It's a waste, really, to talk about this. I'm wiped out after all this potty talk. Okay, bad puns. Gotta love them. Well, you don't gotta, but... So last month was April, and you have April 1st, April Fool's Day, where I guess everybody gets to be an idiot, and you appreciate idiots and all that. I'm just wondering, can we maybe make, I don't know, April 30th, the last day of the month, Anti-Fool's Day? I mean, can we just call out the dumbass shit people do out loud to their face one day a year? Can we do that? Somebody earlier mentioned Walmart. Walmart behavior is something we can call out. There's a reason there's a website called People of Walmart. Like, what about the people that build a roadblock out of their cart and their kids in the middle of the aisle? Like they're living in their own world. Nobody else is around them. The whole store is only to them. And there's like a line of people trying to get around them. And when you do finally squeeze around them, or heaven forbid you got to touch their cart, usually they ignore you, but if you're lucky, you get a dirty ass glare like you just shit on their kid. I don't know what in Walmart I would just decide to randomly shit on, but they look like you just shit on something that belonged to them. And by the way, if that's you, if you're that person at Walmart that thinks you're the only person in the world and you don't need to get out of people, fuck you. What other things? People who park in handicapped spots without a handicap thing. Come on, you fat, lazy piece of shit. Are you kidding me? You can't walk the extra 50 feet for 5 spaces? If you can't, get your handicap placard or plate or whatever. Don't be that asshole. Or how about people that park in 2 spots? And they don't just do it like way back in the back of the parking lot. Okay, I could overlook that. They do it right up front. You know who else can go fuck themselves? Or we can call out on Anti-Fool's Day? Close standers. People who stand so close to you, like you're just worried they're going to lean in and try to make out with you any moment. And you're like, Grandma, can you back off a little? I'm getting horny. And actually, can we just have a day called Back the Fuck Off Me, Asshole? Well, I guess technically with COVID we had more than a year of it. See, there's blessings in every silver lining in every dark cloud. Blessings in every situation. We had a year of Back the Fuck Off Me. And some people still do it. You know what else? Can I have my Hawaiian shirts back, please? Some dumbasses wore Hawaiian shirts and stormed the nation's capital. All of a sudden, everybody is talking about this group of people wearing Hawaiian shirts, and they look at you funny when you're wearing Hawaiian shirts. There are thousands and thousands of tourists and old men everywhere that had to get rid of 30% of their wardrobe because of this. That's just a dick move. And I think we should take back our Hawaiian shirts. If we all wore them, and then, I don't know, what would you have to do once you wear them to prove that you're not that douchebag, that you're a different kind of douchebag? Now, here's where we get a bit racy. Because this shit ain't been bad enough yet. What's up with white people? Because it really seems like a lot of white people really want in on the N-word. Even though nowadays really nobody can use the N-word at all. Not even black people. Because I have black friends that are like, no, just not going to say it anymore. It's just not gonna. But everybody wants to get on it. I have a red-headed friend. And whenever they see another redhead, they're all like, "What's up, my ginger?" I'm like, no. And my Asian friend, the other day, heard him shout to another person, like across a restaurant, another person of Asian persuasion. Isn't that fun? Asian persuasion. "What's up, my ninja?" People at bars shouting to the bartender, "What's up, my jigga?" By the way, jigga, just because I feel like this one needs some explanation. They're these little hour-shaped glass booze measuring things. So don't get too excited. So they're measuring cup for alcohol for all of you who aren't alcoholics or bartenders. Tomato, tomato. There's even a little person who's a comedian, Brad Williams, who, by the way, I interviewed on Talk of the Tavern once. Good guy. Good chat. In his act, he has a part where he's like, "Midget, please!" My girlfriend, who likes knitting, walked by somebody in the yarn section the other day in the store, and she's like, "What's up, my knitter?" Then there's my friends from the subcontinent of India, who say, "Namaste, motherfucker!" I don't know, everybody wants a piece of this. You know, speaking of dumbassery, but shifting into a different lane here. There was one point in time, I guess I was 19 years old, and my granny, who was drunk at the time when she told me this, we were in her kitchen. She had those cute little, like, white fluffy curtains over her kitchen things, and, like, you remember they had, like, this canvas stuff they'd hang by the curtains that always got grease on and got really net? She had those. And she had that table with that metal rim around the edge that was really cool when it's in a diner, but, like, dangerous when you're a kid in a house. But anyhow, we were in her kitchen, and Granny wanted to tell me this story. Because I guess she was drunk, and me being 19, she felt there was a life lesson in the story. So, she met a guy in a bar, and she described a big guy, all swagger and bragger and lager. That doesn't rhyme, but whatever. He's like 6'7". And my grandma, she was, I don't know, 4'11", 5'1". I was shorter at the time, so she didn't seem so short, but she was a short woman. Well, she told me about when she got picked up by this guy. Not necessarily literally, maybe literally. Look at that, with a subscription. What's up, my subba? Thank you for that subscription, Spiritual Mike. Aren't you in the right place for this? Raise a glass to you there. Thank you, buddy. Thought you had just done that recently. Let me refill this before I tell you the story of my granny here. Getting picked up and going back to a hotel room with a stranger. Oh, my family. So anyhow, my granny for a period of time was a trucker. Little short woman, straight from Ireland. Trucker. Oh, foul mouth too. God, I love this woman. Got a lot of my personal habits from her, maybe. Not sure. So, she was a trucker. Goes back to the hotel room with this big burly guy. And decides to go into the bathroom to get freshened up before coitus. Yeah, my granny's telling me this story when I'm 19. So she comes out, and there's that big, huge guy with his pants and his tighty whities around his ankles, waddling towards her with his arms wide. Now, she stumbled backwards because she was so surprised, and she looked down at his willy, her word, because she was keeping it clean for me, and she told me, quote, it looked like a roll of dimes that had lost some change. So this huge 6'7" guy waddling towards her with his pants and underwear around his ankles and his piece of manhood he'd been bragging about for an hour and a half and 4 beers jutting out in front of him. Boink. Like an angry pinky with a maraschino cherry stuck on the end. Granny had a way with words. Well, my granny snorted, slapped her hand to her mouth. The guy apparently thought she was intimidated and impressed. So he stopped, put his fists on his waist, and said, don't be scared of it. That's when Granny started laughing. Well, she said the guy looked confused, thinking she was crying or something, because she did have tears streaming down her face. But it wasn't from fear. And then she burst out. And the laughter like fucking echoed off the wall. She knew it was loud. She couldn't help it, you see, because my granny was a cackler. And a snorter. And that shit cut through everything. The front doors, the walls, the phone lines. People in France were like, ooh la la, who is that laughing? So, the big guy got his feelings hurt. He got pissed, told her to quit laughing, and she kept laughing. And he charged at her. Like full out, high speed, waddling as fast as he could with his pants and his tighty whities around his ankles. As fast as he could go. Apparently, my dear old granny started laughing harder when he did this. Which, I could see that. Apparently, she started laughing so hard she bent over double. And she couldn't see because of the tears in her eyes. She's not exactly sure what happened after that, but she said she felt him grab for her, wind going over her since she was doubled over and short anyway, and since he was moving forward as she did that, she headbutted him right in his dime bag, if you will. He bent over double as Granny was standing up to see what was happening. Her head hit his lower jaw. It slammed back, and he fell backwards. On the way down, slammed his head off the hotel dresser. So when the tears finally cleared and the laughter finally stopped, there's this big, huge guy laid out on his back, unconscious, puddle of jizz right on his hairy, hairy belly. So my granny quietly collected her things and left. It was a month later, same bar, he saw her. Or she saw him and he saw her. And he beelined straight for her. She was prepared for a scene. She was reaching into her little clutch to get out. You know, I never figured out. I believe it or not, I believe it was a roll of dimes that she used. Because she didn't have room for brass knuckles in that. But she was a scrapper. reaches into her clutch. She's prepared for shit to go down. But he stopped a few feet away from her and got a big goofy-ass grin on her face, looked around and said, I don't know what you did last time, but I've never woke up that exhausted and sore before, and I want to do it again. They dated for 2 years after that. Okay, guys, that's my time. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Gonna do the outro, and I will catch you again next time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for everybody through bits, subscribed, and supported. Let's get out of here.
That's a wrap on tonight's nightcap. Thanks for joining me here at the Tavern. Make sure you drop any hints. Stick around in case we decide to do a pub crawl and head over to a friend's place. And until next time, keep appreciating the small moments and make sure to take some time for yourself. Until then, good night.
Don't worry, outro music ends soon enough.